Welcome to This Just In, the show bringing you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and public policy. And now, for the fastest voice in healthcare, here's your host, Justin Barnes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the special edition of This Just In Radio. I'm your host, Justin Barnes. Today, we're broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in sunny Las Vegas. Very excited to be here. It's already been an action-packed 72 hours. The HIMSS annual conference is always a centerpiece of my annual schedule, and this happens to be my 25th HIMSS annual conference and my 11th year broadcasting from the annual conference, which leads us to today. This is the start of 3 days, 5 shows, and over 40 guests here in Las Vegas for HIMSS25. We have our best lineup yet of CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, care providers, researchers, policy leaders, and visionaries joining the show. As many of you know, my goal for broadcasting live each year from these key conferences is to create an information medium that shares best practices, key strategies, and actionable intelligence from the industry's leading sources and experts. My objective, along with all my guests here, will be to offer tactics and strategies to not only survive, but to thrive as you navigate your hospital, your physician practice, your company, or even your family through all these changes occurring across healthcare today. There is more opportunity than ever before for all of us to thrive, but we must understand how healthcare is evolving, how policy and reimbursement is shifting, and where best practices and innovation can support our efforts. I hope you glean all of this over the next few days. That's at least my goal. Welcome back to This Just In Radio Show, broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in sunny Las Vegas. Very excited to introduce my next guest and great friend of the show, Dr. Rasu Shrestha, Chief Innovation and Commercialization Officer and Executive Vice President at Advocate Health. A big welcome back to the show, my good friend. How are you?
Thank you, Justin. I'm always excited to be with you, and I love the energy that you bring to this show. I absolutely do. Not just the energy, but also the insights. And I'm great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's been actually you've been here a couple days now, insightful couple days, walking around?
Yeah. And I came in the day before yesterday, so I could make it in time for the executive forum yesterday.
And you spoke yesterday?
Yeah, I was actually the opening keynote for the HIMSS AMDIS executive forum. It was great. A big ballroom full of CMIOs. Yep. So it was great. My tribe, you know, and it was wonderful. I really enjoyed that conversation, and I think the entirety of the day yesterday was amazing because before the start of the main show, we had an opportunity to just really talk about issues of substance. So it was wonderful.
Yep, love it. So I'd like to start off with something positive. What progress are you most excited about seeing in healthcare now in the industry?
You know, what's really interesting is a couple of years ago, we'd come to a HIMSS show and we'd say, hey, it's all about AI, right? Yes. Everyone's talking about AI. I strongly do believe that we are now beyond the hype cycle of AI, right? And there is actual delivery of real value from an AI and Gen AI perspective. So whether it's around ambient voice and listening, right? Yep. Or whether specifically around things like in radiology and imaging, where we've had AI for a while, but now with the power of Gen AI and some of the adoption and the integration, we're really starting to see tremendous differences. So that's what I'm really excited about.
So at Advocate and personally, what are you working on that you're most passionate about today?
Yeah, so lots of things. This is a big year for us, 2025.
It is.
A lot of things that we've been working on in the last several years, we're actually going to turn on this year. So one big thing is the Pearl, the Innovation District in Charlotte. So we have an innovation district up in Winston-Salem called IQ Innovation Quarter. This last year alone, it generated $1.66 billion of economic impact at IQ. So we're opening Charlotte's very own innovation district called the Pearl. And once we're up and running in its entirety, the Pearl would have generated 11,500 new jobs. So just think about the economic engine, the jobs engine, right? And as well as the innovations and the impact and that, intentional collisions that we're going to foster between researchers and clinicians and investors and startup community and others as well. So super excited about that. Also the launch of our new medical school, Charlotte's first 4-year medical school. Super excited about that again this year. And then IRCAD, which is the Experiential Learning Surgical Simulation Robotics Center. It's a destination center. It is IRCAD North America, so a destination for all of North America and globally as well. And that's also opening this summer. So we've got a busy schedule lined up of amazing innovations and partnerships as well.
Yeah, so I mean, even the care, now I just think my brain starts to fly here on just the care advancements that you're bringing to those ecosystems as well. I mean, Charlotte is epicenter for care. Yeah. Talk a second about that. I mean, you're bringing leading care around the world to Charlotte, basically, and the surrounding communities.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you think about things like surgery, we've made such tremendous advancements in the last several years. And today, when you're doing surgery, in large parts you're using robots, little chopsticks with 1 centimeter incisions versus a big incision,
right?
And you're admitted in the hospital for days at a time with potential risks and quality issues and all of that as well. So you've got robotic surgery enhanced with AI is a big deal right now. So IRCAD North America really will be that destination center for training, and we're going to have thousands of surgeons flying into Charlotte, North Carolina, every year to get trained in minimally invasive surgery, robotics, and AI. So it's going to be tremendous.
Who are some of the partners there that are working with you?
Yeah, so this really is an ecosystem play. IRCAD North America is a wholly owned subsidiary of Atrium Health, now Advocate Health.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. IRCAD is headquartered out of Strasbourg in France, and there is a global presence. But alongside IRCAD, we also have partners like Siemens, we have partners like Stryker, we have partners like Boston Scientific, and several more that we'll be announcing in short order. So super excited about all of that.
Love it. Congratulations, my friend. I've watched this grow throughout the years too, so it's exciting to see it come to fruition now. So what are some of your goals for HIMSS25, and what do you want to accomplish over the next couple of days here?
Yeah, so HIMSS25 is, it comes at a really opportune time. When you think about all of the headwinds and some tailwinds, right? Like we talked about AI and then the imperative of really transforming care, but amidst the headwinds that we're facing. So what I already have been engaging at HIMSS25 has been real conversation in terms of saying, all right, how do we navigate those headwinds, right? So amidst, for example, some of the funding challenges, right, from federal government and beyond, how do we make sure that we're really taking advantage of industry partnerships and catapulting forward the things that we're already starting to do in terms of building out these ecosystems, right? So that really is a big part of my HIMSS 2025. I mentioned yesterday, I spoke at the HIMSS AMDIS Executive Physician Forum, which I think was really great dialogue. And then what I also enjoy about HIMSS is the opportunity to liaise directly with other executives that are also here. I mean, the keynote this morning with folks from the Samsung Medical Center was tremendous.
I saw that.
And the executive from the Samsung Medical Center was at my keynote yesterday, listening to everything I had to say, and just the tremendous opportunities. We are one global community, if you think about healthcare.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing that the pandemic taught us, is that we are one united global community, and for us to really collaborate in ways that we've never done before is something that I'm really looking forward to, and those are the types of conversations I'm having at HIMSS25.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. People don't, every year the importance seems to grow, and also our collaborations continue to grow, and that's what brings, these events to us and make it so exciting, is that the brightest minds globally, are here in many ways, and it continues to grow in that capacity. So I love it. Just even collaborating with, all these people, and then having, get great guests like you, but then also hearing these ideas. One thing that I'd like to dive into a little bit more, we have a little bit of time, is where do you see Gen AI making some of the most tangible differences in Advocate over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so we're excited about Gen AI, not just for the sake of Gen AI, but in the way that it can really enhance and accelerate the pace of clinical transformation as well as experiences.
Right, there you go.
Right, so I've said for a while that healthcare has been stuck in the mires of transactional healthcare.
Absolutely.
Right? Healthcare is transactional healthcare, and it really needs to be elevated to experiential healthcare. Right, so I really believe in the power of Gen AI, and we do as well, not just for physicians, radiologists, clinicians, overall care teams, but also patients and consumers.
Absolutely.
So super excited about all of that. One big opportunity that we're looking forward to, that is part of our 5-year strategic plan that the board actually signed off on, is really looking at decreasing unnecessary variations in care. right? So if you think about, all of the variations that happen across broad swaths of healthcare.
Absolutely.
We've got 70 hospitals, over 1,000 care sites just at Advocate alone, right? How do we elevate ourselves, leveraging the power of Gen AI to what I call the highest common denominator, not the lowest common denominator, right? So really taking the standard of care that best clinician for that specific use case would put out there, marrying it with evidence-based guidelines, clinical protocols, and then accelerating that, leveraging the power of Gen AI and making it available for all, right? That is the goal that we have.
That's what I love that. That's fantastic. So looking to the proverbial crystal ball, what do you see as a strategy or a trend that we need to be ready to navigate in 2 to 3 years from now? I used to say 5 to 7 years or 3 to 5 years, but now I'm 2 to 3 years because everything's going so fast.
2 to 3, that is. So I love that time frame as well. If you think about it, I believe there are a couple, and I won't mention Gen AI because that's already underway.
Right.
We are specifically working on a number of things around clinical trials. I'm excited about that opportunity. I think now is the right time for us to really accelerate the pace of how we look at clinical trials. So we're going to be standing up what we're calling the National Center for Clinical Trials this year.
Excellent.
That's going to be quite tremendous. There's a lot of work that's happening right now as we pull all of that component together. The specifics of this really is, look, clinical trials today is really a last resort. It's seen as this thing, you tried everything. Well, here's this clinical trial, this novel clinical trial, let's give that a try. Or it's also, it's also only available to a few, right? You might, be next to a tertiary care center or an NCI designated cancer institute, and you happen to have access to these clinical trials. So we're going to change that paradigm, right? We want for clinical trials to be just another care modality. We want it to be available and accessible to all. We want to leverage the power of Gen AI to really decipher the specifics of all of the data elements that come around patient recruitment and clinical trials, drug development, CROs, the work with pharma, and really say, how do we benefit that patient? How do we contextualize all of this to that N of one that is the patient? So super excited about that.
Are there a few, but not to give anything away that we shouldn't mention, but is there a few partners that you're really excited about collaborating with in those areas?
Yeah, there are. There are a lot of partners. We're not making any announcements yet around that, just because there's just a lot of work that's happening behind the scenes. But yeah, absolutely. This is about bringing the right partners together. What we are doing internally at Advocate is, we are now the 3rd largest not-for-profit health system in the country, the 2nd largest academic health system in the country. But we're, the bigger we get, I always say that, we have to be more nimble, more agile, and more innovative.
Yeah, that's right.
And so what we've done is, as an example, we've stood up a singular IRB, an institutional review board.
That's right.
Again, 70 hospitals, over 1,000 care sites, 1 IRB. Right. So it's things like that that'll really help bring the right partners to the table so that we can streamline the way that we're actually pushing forward with innovations and partnerships and care transformation opportunities.
Yeah, you mentioned that on the last show a couple weeks ago, and that was fantastic. I mean, that alone makes a big tangible difference for the patients at Advocate. Obviously, I think it makes a better organization to manage and lead, but then also what you bring to your patients. That's significant.
Yeah. Healthcare is already too darn complex, too darn hard.
Absolutely.
We have to simplify healthcare, and I think it starts with us.
Yep. I completely agree. Well, thank you, my friend. Always fantastic to have you on air. And now we don't have a show now for many, many, many months. It's going to be until Health. Will I see you at Health by chance?
Yes.
You in?
I'll be there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Rasu Shrestha, thank you so much for joining me, my friend. As always, you're awesome.
Thank you,
Ryan.
appreciate it.
All right. Welcome back to This Justin Radio Show, broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in sunny Las Vegas. I'm very excited to introduce my next guest and great friend of the show, Hal Wolf, President CEO of HIMSS. A big thank you and welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much. It is great to be here.
You got it.
Wrap-up day.
I know. I'm extremely excited. I know you are. It's been an amazing couple of days, certainly for me, but I assume it's been an amazing couple of days for you.
It has been exhausting and amazing.
Yes.
Most of us got in, the majority came in Saturday morning.
Yes.
And we've been just running full stop. Now here we are settling in on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Still activity going on the floor, which is phenomenal.
Yes, exciting.
And it's been an exhausting 5 days for sure.
I bet. Well, your team did a phenomenal job. I've had now 38 guests so far rolling through the show, been all over the floor. I've only heard phenomenal things. Everybody's extremely happy. Our numbers are back to pre-COVID days. Excited to see this. I've been saying for now a couple of months, this is my Super Bowl coming in. I achieved all of my goals. I loved it. What are your thoughts on what you've been able to see the last couple of days?
We're thrilled.
Yeah.
And there are a number of reasons. First of all, you noted it. It's back to pre-COVID days.
Yep.
The decision makers are here.
They absolutely are.
There's been a buzz on this floor. It has been nonstop for 3 days. And, you can have a great first day, and then you can have a whatever. It's been 3 straight days. Unbelievable.
Yep.
The content's been outstanding.
Absolutely.
And when you get outside of the floor itself, and this is something everyone's just talking to each other.
They are.
I mean, the hallways are packed. The conversations are packed. The lines are at the restaurants. It is like it was before, and we're absolutely as happy as can be. The attendance has been outstanding. We've had the highest level of professional attendance that we've had in years.
Yeah, the quality's there.
Quality is really there.
For sure. And I always say, if you can't achieve your goals at HIMSS, that's on you. You give us every opportunity. You give us the platform, the people here, the decision makers, the thought leaders, the backbone of our communities are all here. So again, if you pre-plan, you put the work in ahead of time, and then you hustle while you're here, you can exceed all your goals, in my opinion.
100%. And you hear that whether you're a government official, hospital official, market supplier.
Yep.
Even from the news, radio. We had almost 200 people from the press here this time. We know we'll be close to 300 next year. The demand is already building up.
Yeah.
So we're very excited.
And to jump the gun a little bit, is it what are the dates? Is it March 9th to 14th? What are the dates? You remember for 2026?
I think you're right. I think it's March 9th. But
9th to 12th maybe. But a lot of promotion will be coming out.
Back here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
And that is going to be very good.
Yeah, and don't give my secret away, but I always book my hotel far in advance for that exact reason. But no one heard that.
Won't tell.
Yeah, thank you. What were you most excited to see over the last couple of days? I know there's a lot of great things going on, but is there anything one thing that sticks out to you that you're just kind of most excited?
It really is how global this event has become. Even from the opening, where you had leaders talking in multiple languages, really bringing in the best of care delivery, and digital health transformation from around the globe. People were learning from each other. When people learn from each other, that's a successful HIMSS.
Absolutely.
It's not just about pitching stuff.
Right.
It's about learning. Right. It's about sharing, and it's about progressing our digital health ecosystem and the health ecosystem by itself.
Yep.
So that's what turns us on, and you hear that buzz from everyone.
You absolutely do. So, and kind of filling on from there, HIMSS25, as it comes to an end, what are some of the major topics and trends that you heard throughout the show? Well,
part of it's reimbursement. So if you're U.S. based, everyone's trying to figure out what Washington's going to be doing. Yep. Obviously, AI integration into a lot of different products and services was very big. Informatics from a nursing, training, and physician standpoint was also very big.
Right.
Because people have to get retrained to understand what's coming.
Absolutely.
And then finally, as I was thinking about and I was walking the floor and looking at all of the efforts going on, there's an interesting, I'm trying to frame it this way, an interesting cross-pollination between the market suppliers and the providers, where they're collaborating at a highest level that I have not seen.
Absolutely agree.
Maybe ever.
Ever, yeah. And I've heard that now as a theme. Most of my guests have brought up the collaboration that we have is second to none. We've never seen it before, and you saw it certainly here today. And even from Rasu Shrestha was one of my guests who's on all my shows. He talked about the collaboration is significantly increased. So we need that, and it brings up better products. Certainly, when you talk about care strategies and integration and workflow enhancements that we need, that we deserve, better patient outcomes. It's a
people are solving strategic problems.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it in a vacuum, and they're not looking, buying a product off the shelf to fit it. They're having detailed conversations. There's a level of a consultative approach, which has now gripped the floor here at HIMSS, that is just different than I've seen in quite a while, if ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at that high level now.
It is. Congratulations there. So also one of the big keynotes here was a Samsung Medical Center. They're on the main stage there. Obviously, HIMSS's global reach is well represented with that type of an engagement. Tell us more about your organization's effort to expand international. You've always been an international organization, but obviously you're pushing more and more investment.
We really have. So I've been fortunate enough to be in this role for a little over 7 years. When I came into it, we had about 78,000 members, 76 of which were in North America, and only 2,000 overseas.
Wow.
Today, we have about 80,000 members in North America, and we have over 40,000 members overseas.
Wow.
And so there you lies the 120 plus thousand members of HIMSS.
Congratulations.
2 out of 5 members are now outside of North America, and we're growing like crazy. Then you look up and you say, okay, well, where are the smartest hospitals in the world? Well, Samsung Medical Center has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 level 7s of HIMSS maturity models and a perfect score in digital health indicator. Yeah. So what that means is they're the most digital health ready hospital we know of.
Right.
When they got up on the stage, along with interesting robots they've created, and they told their story, people heard, hey, this was not an easy path. They failed. You know, Dr. Park got up and said, we went this direction, it didn't work. And the second he said that, everyone went, oh, they're just like us.
Right.
I can learn from them.
Absolutely.
Because they failed and then they rebuilt. How did they do that? Yeah. Well, that's what HIMSS does. Yep. We bring together the lessons from around the world so that people can learn from each other. We're a global community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all represented here.
Well, to prove your point, right after that keynote, Rasu Shrestha, who's a great thought leader in the industry, one of the best, a great friend of the show, came right onto this show. And he talked about what he saw in that presentation. He was inspired by what you saw. So to your point, I mean, some of our biggest thought leaders here in America, got a lot from that presentation. So thank you for putting that on.
It was actually my pleasure. And frankly, maybe a little, I went to Korea, I've gone it several times. I've gotten to know the Samsung Medical Center people. I saw the story that they had gone through, and I said, this is the opening of HIMSS. Yeah. And our tremendous partners at Informa Connect said, yes, this makes perfect sense. They came, and I thought everyone did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, well done, for sure. So as you look to the rest of the year, obviously you can take a little bit of time off, for sure. You deserve it, your team deserves it. What else will HIMSS be working on? What's next for society?
So we are really focused on 4 major themes from a strategy standpoint to support our members. One is digital health transformation, which is a large bucket. We get that. Next is AI. What's responsible AI? How do you prepare for it? How do you train your people? Right behind AI, you've got to focus on cybersecurity. Absolutely. Very important. One does not go without the other. Yep. And not surprisingly, then workforce development. So those are the 4 major themes. Yep. We have Paris coming up the first week of June. So that's going to be a wonderful event. And then we'll be announcing our Asia Pac location very soon. It's all in the works. We just haven't brought it forward.
So HIMSS Europe will be in Paris, basically? Do you call it HIMSS Europe, or what's
yes,
it?
It's HIMSS25 Europe.
Okay.
As this is the HIMSS25 Global Conference, that's the HIMSS25 Europe, and really Europe, Middle East Conference.
This is my 25th HIMSS annual conference.
You're ahead of me. This is my 21st.
So, but how many HIMSS annual conferences has there been? 25? No, there's been many more than that.
That's the
as I thought.
I actually ran into someone the other day had been to 37 straight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's. Who do you remember that person's name? I may know them because there's only small group of us back then.
I don't know if she would want me to say that name.
Yeah, let's scratch that. Absolutely. But I realized I was trying to do the math before. I think I missed a couple years. I started coming in 1997. I missed 1 or 2 years. But you were great. I gave you kudos even earlier in my program because even when 2020 we had to punt because of COVID, we did the broadcast remotely because this is my 11th year broadcasting live from HIMSS annual conference, and you still stayed with the show. Even Anish, Rasu, John Halamka, everybody stayed with the show, and during that time. So it ended up being fantastic.
You feel an important function and a very important voice, and we deeply appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. So, and you brought this up initially, the digital health transformation and the ecosystem. So tell us more about how HIMSS drives digital health transformation and what else HIMSS does to support the digital maturity in that health ecosystem.
Sure, be happy to. I think a lot of it begins, first of all, with our maturity models. They're different than others. If you go back years ago, our maturity models were more of a technical checklist, which a lot of people have.
Yep.
But where we did the transformation over the last couple of years is really to drive, it's not so much the technology, but what are you doing with it? How's the impact on access? How's the impact on quality? What's the so that behind the real digital transformation that is there? Right. That drives people's strategies. And so we see this being used at the individual hospital level or clinic level all the way up to government. So we have been measuring Germany, Italy, we're in the process of helping Romania, Portugal, and other countries, right? So we're in Malaysia. We just signed a new agreement with Turkey.
Yeah, Tom Lear was on earlier talking about two MOUs that just came across. So congrats.
Exactly. No, we're thrilled.
Yeah.
We signed Taiwan the year before. And what we're doing is we're working with the ministries of health, where we lay out for them the ability to measure all of their hospitals on their digital maturity journey. And then we come behind that and measure it again with helping them in between with advisory services and giving them that direction. And that's what HIMSS has been called upon to do. The demand has been phenomenal, but they recognize that we are a global NGO, right? Nonprofit. We're not out to, go someplace that isn't a benefit to them.
That's right.
And so the mix with governments globally, along with the individual hospital systems, of course, so many here in North America, has really been quite a compliment. We're glad to serve. Behind that is the value at our individual members. Our chapter leader meeting here, we had over 200, leaders that were here. So we're just seeing the enthusiasm and the response at the local levels in North America spilling over globally. It's impressive.
Congratulations. No, and the HIMSS chapter network is second to none. There's no one larger, no one more powerful. We desperately need them. We actually need them more now than ever before because of how there's going to be some deregulation going on. So we need strong state leadership working in partnership with the federal aspects, because we don't want all 50 states running off and doing their own stuff in a lot of areas when we need to be more uniform. I know that's a much bigger conversation. But it's
a great point. And I will tell you something. I'm a member of the Colorado chapter. And on March 17th is our advocacy day in the state of Colorado. Okay. And I'm flying back from a place on the 16th so I can be there.
It's that important.
To support it.
Absolutely.
Go up on the Hill, because we coordinate this through our national government relations team, to your point, so that we do have a coordinated approach, and now more than ever.
Yeah, it's vital to our industry. So thank you. Hal Wolf, thank you so much, my friend, for joining the show.
My pleasure to be here, and thank you for having us. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, every year.
At the Global Conference, and we'll look forward to next year as well.
I'm already am. Thank you so much, my friend.
Beautiful.
See you soon. That's a wrap from Las Vegas and HIMSS25. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to everyone who voted us 2024 Healthcare Podcast of the Year. Thank you so much, Roberta Mullen, Greg Masters, Carol Flagg, and the entire crew at the Healthcare Now Radio Network. They've also been producing my show for 11 years, and it's a true blessing to be able to do this every single year. Also, a special note of thanks to Jake Reed, my head of media. Jake did a phenomenal job managing our remote broadcast while here at HIMSS25. Again, many thanks to all of my show partners, AMD and AWS, and also a shout out to Medallion here, who gave me water for my shows, certainly my lasting shows. So thank you very much. And then also Bright Hour has a foundation that I want to make a special shout out to. Seppi Browning, Georgia HIMSS, she put together this new foundation to help with workforce development and education in health IT. So Seppi Browning, she's fantastic. HIMSS Georgia chapter, they're always great partners and supporters of my radio show. Great people. So look up Bright Hour Foundation and give her some love and support. And certainly a big thank you to Hal Wolf, Albie Zakes, Morgan Searles, the entire HIMSS team. They're always extremely supportive in the events and broadcasting requirements that I have. And again, thank you so much to all my listeners. We're grateful for you. You make us better with every broadcast. And that's a wrap from Las Vegas. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.